Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Yay, it's finally here, my first color along with you guys. This was requested so many times that I had to try to film a color along because a lot of you wanted to see how I did my pages or how I start my pages. So I'm going to try to explain this as detailed as it can be. English is not my first language, so I'm going to try to make sure you guys understand. If I make some mistakes, I will put the right word or sentence on the screen. Okay, so we are working today in Juwelenkistje by HANNA KARLZON. It's a jewelry box in English. I'm doing this book in order. So the next page in line is this one with the necklaces. So I thought, okay, that's quite an easy page. So we will do this together. So before we start, just put like a little bit of paper to cushion out the page. So nothing transfers to the other side. The ink can transfer to the next page if you press a little bit too hard. And then I always use some white sheet to swatch out or something, and to cover up this page, because I thought we would do a page with mediums everybody has. So I was thinking about a soft pastel background and some water-based markers with pencils on top and maybe some glitter. We will see. So I already picked out a color palette. I always use a color palette. I just think it is way easier to color with a color palette. I'm coloring for 3 years now and I still struggle with putting colors to the page. I cannot improvise, it's too difficult for me. I know color theory, I know everything, but a reference photo is always better. So when you guys are starting out, the way you can pick a color page is to see what elements are on the page. So I type in Pinterest color palette jewelry, and then you find a lot of or necklaces, and then you find some reference pictures, and then it is a lot easier to pick something when you have a photo as a reference. So I'm going to put the reference photo on the screen, maybe on the right side, because the page is on this side, maybe here, and I will leave it at the corner so you can always look back at what I'm doing. So I chose this reference picture because there were some elements in on the top of the image. And I saw here is a lot of empty space, a lot of background. So I thought that gradient in the reference photo was a great start to base everything. And then I was planning to go on top with some purples and to make the necklaces gold, because in the reference photo we have like a hint of yellow in between the purples. So I thought to do a gold necklace, some purple accents, and I always, in the HANNA KARLZON books, I always use a black fineliner as well. So yeah, we will see. Okay, so the first thing I am going to do is pick my soft pastels. So I'm always starting with the background when I'm using soft pastels. Why? Because they are erasable. So I lay down my colors and then I erase the bits that went on the image itself. So it's very user friendly. You cannot do anything wrong with soft pastels. It's a great medium to start out. So this was what I bought 3 years ago and I still use it. So yeah, these are the Faber-Castell ones. Very great price and a lot of colors because it is mini blocks. Okay, so these are the colors. we have available. And just take a board. This is the Caran d'Ache cutting board, but you can use anything. You can even use a plate from the kitchen or something like that, just to get the pigment on the palette. And you have to have like an applicator or a tissue, a cotton pad. It actually doesn't matter what it is. I use cotton pads and I just forgot them. So 1 second, I will get them. Okay, so I got the cotton pads. Those are just like makeup thingies. You can use the big ones as well, or maybe a tissue. So see what you have available. If it is big spaces, I like to use these, and otherwise I like to use like a pen pastel applying tool. For it's a little bit easier to go in small spaces, but for this works perfectly. So okay, in the reference picture we go from like a beigey color to a minty color. So I was thinking about I actually like these. It has like a little hint of pink in it. I have the reference photo next to me, so maybe we can do, yeah, it's going to work fine, I think. So this for the top color, and then it goes to like a green and then a mint. So we not actually have a mint, we have like a turquoisey color, so it's always going to be a lot lighter when you apply it on the paper. So this one, and then this like a very, maybe this green. Yeah, this has to work. I don't have another green, so yeah, this is going to be it. So these are the 3 colors I'm going to use. There is not a numbering system on these colors, so yeah, just take something that is close to the colors you see over here. Okay, so what I am going to do, okay, I just take a knife. You can use any knife you have available, just something sharp, and then we're going to put some shavings on the palette. It is a big area, so just take enough of pigment. Okay, and then it was this one. And then this is the color in the bottom. Okay, so when I look at my reference picture, I always try to see what the colors in the background are. So you have some color palettes that suggest like 5 or 6 colors, and then you can work with it. I try to look at the picture itself as well. So if I see like the background is like this, from beige to turquoise, I use that in my coloring picture. I'm not going to do a purple background because the flowers are purple. I mostly try to see what the background is. So in this case, it are these colors. Okay, so I'm going to do this one away because soft pastels are a little bit messy. So okay, perfect. So we are going to start from the bottom, from the top to the bottom. Always start with the lightest color, and then you can reuse your cotton pad. So you can do this however you want. Okay, so I'm just going to take like the beigey, I don't know what it is, skin color, and I'm just going to add some colors to the paper. It's going to be very light, but you can build up the colors as you go. So this is very light in the beginning. I'm just going over everything. You don't have to do a background, but I had a little bit of ghosting from the page I colored last month. So I want to cover it a little bit. This is not going to give me a lot of color, but it's something. On camera you can see it a little bit, but in real life it is very, very, very faint. So maybe we have to use another color. I'm just winging it. I'm not planning too much. I'm just planning how I'm going to use my colors, and we will see all the rest whenever we go. Okay, so this color is not going to work. It is way too faint. So maybe I will use like this. It's a little bit more yellowy. Or maybe I can, maybe this one is going to work as well. We will see. So just maybe on the top a little bit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We will see. And then I'm going to take the green color, and that was like in the middle. Try to avoid the big areas if you can. Don't be too precise, but everything you are avoiding you don't have to erase, so it just is a little bit less work. All the rest I really don't mind. It's always much softer when you put it on the page than when you see it erased on the palette, so just keep that in mind. And then we're going to take the turquoisey color in the bottom. So So I'm just applying more soft pastels where I wanted it to be a little bit more dark. So the first layer is always light, but you can build up your intensity of your pigment. I want a soft background, so I don't want too much color. Okay, I just think I need a little bit more color over here, and maybe we can put a little bit of that color in here as well to make it a little bit more softer, like you have in the reference picture. So I'm going to get that first color again and try to put it all over the page, so everywhere we went, just to give it a little hint of beige. You always have an ugly stage, so you just have to push through and see what you're coming up with. I always hate my pictures when I just do a background or I'm just basing with a medium. It always has an ugly stage, so you just have to push through. At the end it will all come together, so don't freak out if you're halfway through and you're thinking, oh no, this is not going to go well. Just go for it. You always can fix your page, always. If you haven't seen my completed pages for April, I had a fail of the month. I still salvaged it. I made sure my page was done. It took me way longer than I was expecting, but the page is done. Because you take the color into the bottom, it's going to look a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more old, maybe dull. I don't know what the right word is. Okay, like this. And at the end, it's possible I am going to add some extra elements depending on how it is working together. Maybe some splattering effect, or yeah, maybe some glitter, or I'm going to erase some circles in the background. I'm not sure. I'm just going to put some color on the paper and we will see as we go. You can fixate this with a workable fixative. I'm not going to do that. Mostly if you rub into the pages from HANNA KARLZON, it sticks quite nicely, so I just fixate at the end actually. But you can always do that if you are sure. But the thing is, I'm not sure if I'm going to erase in the background some circles in the end. And when you fixate it, you don't have the opportunity anymore. You can go on top of it with like a white Neo color too for some circles, but erasing has, I think, a little bit of a better effect. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'm going to clean up my Soft pastels, wash my hands, because otherwise you will have some fingerprints all over the place, and I will be back in a second. Okay, so my hands are clean. We're going to work a little bit more on the background. Like you see, the soft pastels went over the image. I know my colors are going to be gold and purple. This is a very light background, so the only thing I'm going to erase is maybe a little bit on the big elements. The small things you're not going to see it because it is already like a brownish color, but over here I'm going to use gold and it's green, so maybe you're going to see some hints of green. It's not that bad, but if you have the opportunity, just erase it a little bit. So this is the Derwent electric eraser. You can do this with just a classic eraser as well, but because it's a little bit more fine and we have a lot of curls, I'm just going to use this one. So soft pastels are very erasable. That's the beauty of it, and that's why I am always gravitating towards soft pastels. You have a very soft background, very easy, very user-friendly. Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but that's okay by me. Okay, and maybe just a little bit over here. Yep, that's it. So I'm not going to erase all those small things. We're just going over it with some coloring pencils, I think. If it is bothering me, after a while we will fix it anyway. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to base my page with some water-based markers. So I just need two colors, purple and a yellow, because yellow is the base for our golden color and purple is going to be the base color for the gems. I think we're going to do this very simple, and we will see what we will come up with. Okay, so just take a light purple, it doesn't matter which one. In the reference picture it is like a cold purple, so if you have the opportunity, take a cold purple. This is the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. It's the lilac 293. 39. No. 239. I don't know how you say it in English. Okay, so this is the first color, and the second color is going to be the Tombow 090. I just buy water-based markers open stock, so I have a lot of different brands. I just take markers as I go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to decide which elements are going to be purple. So I was thinking that all the gems, I'm going to do it in purple. So just start with the color, you know which elements are going to be purple, and then we can figure it out all the way through how you're going to do it. So I think this is going to be purple. So this is actually the way I am going to map out my colors. I think it is so much easier. Then when you're just doing everything with coloring pencils to see what you're going to do in which color. I just think this is way easier to map out your colors. if you're working with water-based markers, just don't rub over the same place a lot, because then you're going to rip the paper. So just try to go over the places just once. It doesn't have to be perfect. We will go over this with coloring pencils. So okay, so this is the first one. I'm not going to do the dog in purple. That's too much. So maybe I'm going to do this in purple. Or we're just going to do everything in gold. I'm just going to do these in purple. I just want a lot of gold and some hints of purple. I'm sorry for the sniffling, but I have some allergies when the weather is getting better. It's very annoying. But when I am looking down, I'm always sniffling, unfortunately. Okay, and then maybe I'm going to do this in purple. I just want some hints of purple. Yeah, this gem as well. I'm using water-based markers in this book because it is double-sided and I want to color every page in this book. If you don't mind sacrificing the other page, you can use alcohol markers too. Okay. I think that's it. Yep. Okay. And then what I always use in Hannah Karlzon's books is a black fineliner. So this is a Staedler pigment liner 0.5 and it is a waterproof marker. I always use waterproof because I never know which media I'm going to use in a book. If you have like a waterproof marker, you can use everything. So it's just something I'm aware of when I am buying fine liners. You can use a black water-based marker as well, but those aren't waterproof, so just keep that in mind. And then there are some little elements I don't want to color, so I'm going to do those in black. Like you see all those little thingies, I'm not going to color them all with pencils, so I just black out those little bits. I think when you use black on a page, it pops a little bit more as well. Okay, this is also going to be black. And we're going in with some glitter as well. I think Hannah Karlzon's books are very suitable for glitters. I like to use glitter glue, but you can use a glitter gel pen as well. You don't have to even do it on this page. You can choose any page you want in Jewelry Box or another HANNA KARLZON book. Okay, and then I'm just debating, maybe I have to put the black a little bit over here as well. This is all going to be gold. Yeah, maybe just this little bit over here. That's gold, that's gold. And that's going to be gold as well. I just wanted something black over here because it is a little bit more, yeah, cohesive, I think. And then in this page I'm going to do all those little bits in black. I'm not going to put this video on music because I always hate that when people do that, because those musics are mostly like something I don't want to hear when I'm coloring. I like some peace and quiet, but I want to hear the people speak when they are doing something, so you have to leave the music on. But you can always put your own playlist and put it on music when you're following along. You can always add music, but you cannot get it off unless you mute the whole video. Okay, so that's all going to be gold. Maybe the middle of the dog's eye. And maybe his nose as well, just because I don't know what to do with that. Okay, and then over here, I think we're just going to do this in black. Just put the black wherever you feel like it, and then those little bits. Okay, just like that. So I think this is what I'm going to do, black, and then this is like a very, very faint yellow. So maybe I just want like an old gold, so maybe I have to take a little bit more of a yellow. Yeah, maybe this one. This is too dark. My water-based markers, I just swatch them when I'm trying to use them. I'm not going to swatch every water-based marker I have. I'm not a big swatcher. Yeah, we're going to use this one. The dark cadmium yellow 108 from Faber-Castell. I'm going to use this one. I want like an old gold, and mostly that's a little bit yellowish, and I think when I use a darker gold is going to pop more from the page. So yeah, I'm just going to fill in all the rest of the elements in this yellow color. And like you see, the soft pastels are not visible because it is a little bit of the same color. When we have like a purple background, it was going to be visible on the yellow. So you just have to see what color your background is, what color you're going to use on top. If you don't know which color you're going to use, you always have the opportunity to erase once you decide it, if you haven't fixated your soft pastel. So that's mostly the reason why I don't do it after I did the background. It's a little bit more forgiving. Mostly when I am coloring, my nose is almost on the paper to see what I'm doing, but because of the filming purposes, I have to keep my head a little bit further away from the page. It's not easy to change up your coloring method. And normally I always flip the book when I'm coloring. So this is a whole new experience to me. So you can always leave me a comment what you like about this color along and what you don't like, so I know what I have to do in the next video. Do you like this in real time, or do I have to speed up some parts of this? Or do you like to see every step of the way I am doing? I think with this page it is doable. But when you have a very detailed page and you have to do everything in real time, it's going to take 10 parts. So do you guys like a lot of parts, or do you like 2 or 3 parts? And I do the explanation and then do it a little bit in a speed color. Let me know what you guys think. For me, it really doesn't matter. I have to color it anyway, so if I have to speed up the video or not, my process is the same. So it is purely for you guys. I am adjusting the video. And if you give this video a thumbs down, please let me know why, so I can make the right adjustments for in the future. I sometimes get a thumbs down on my YouTube videos, not a lot, but then I always wondering what the problem was. And I never know. I'm going to leave these things white because I think I'm going to do that with some glitter, just some small elements to do with glitter. I am debating if I'm going to do this in black as well. We're going to do it in black. Yeah, why not? Maybe otherwise it's going to be a little bit too much yellow in the top. Yeah, maybe that's better, and it isn't a lot of gold for this one, because this is quite a big area to do in gold, so maybe that's... Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing, so I was debating if I was going to do a color long or not, because planning my pages isn't my strong suit. I take a color palette and I know a little bit what I want to do, but then it depends if it works or... yeah. But I will take you guys with me and we will see. Then you also see that when you see my completed pages, that it's not always like I start to color something and it's always turning out great. Sometimes I leave the page for a couple of days because I'm stuck, and then I come back to it with a fresh eye, and then yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'm just trying to do something and it doesn't work. Yeah, this isn't a hard page, so this is much easier to plan. So when you have like a Clara Markova page or a Melpomene Chatzipanagiotou page, it's a little bit harder because then I'm just improvising all the way. I have a color palette and I go for it. I think the dog is going to be gold as well. I even have no idea how to color a dog. So this is going to be very interesting. I don't have a color combination for gold, so we will see what we're going to do with that. Okay, and then the last one, I'm going to leave it like an open pendant. So I don't have a lot of soft pastels on there, but it's not going to bother me because it is a very soft background. You always have a little bit of color in there because we went over the image a little bit. So, and if you really want, you can always go in with a Q-tip with a little bit of your soft pastels and you go in between. We will see. Once the coloring pencil is in there, I get a better view what is missing. but I think we're going to do the splattering effect anyway, because there are some stars in the background, so we have to do something with that. So this is actually an easy way to map out my colors, so I don't have a lot of stress with my coloring pencils to know what element is going to look with what and the colors I'm using. Sometimes I use alcohol markers depending on, yeah, if it is a single-sided page or not. And sometimes I just sacrifice the page behind it. Like in the Kirby books, I'm not going to color every page in that book. The only exception is maybe Fragile World, because I like every page in that book. But like Mythic World, Worlds Within Worlds, I think the process is so much more fun when I can use a little bit of alcohol markers. Okay, so everything is based with water-based markers. The background is done with soft pastels. And in part 2 we are going to choose our coloring pencils, and we're going to put some extra shading and highlighting on top. And depending on how long the video is going to be, I'm going to do some extra elements in glitter and in the background as well. So please tell me in the comment what you think of this part, what you like, what you don't like, and then I know what I have to adjust for part 2. Thank you, and I will see you again soon. Bye!